Disturbing true spring break horror stories. The beach house looked perfect in the photos. Whitewashed walls, ocean views, and enough room for all 6 of us. My friends and I had been planning the spring break trip to Padre Island for months, saving every penny from our part-time jobs. We were college juniors, desperate for a week away from exams and responsibilities. This is going to be epic. Marcus shouted as we pulled up to the property, our rented van packed with coolers and beach gear. The house sat isolated at the end of the sandy road, separated from a main strip of vacation rentals by about a mile. That should have been our first warning. The nearest neighbor was barely visible in the distance. Why is it so cheap? Riley asked, scrolling through her phone as we unloaded. Places like this usually go for triple what we paid. Our friend Jake, who'd found the listing, shrugged. Owner said it's new to the rental market, trying to build reviews. Lucky us, right? The interior was exactly as advertised, modern, clean, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Gulf. We claimed our rooms, cracked open beers, and toasted to the best spring break ever. That first night, we partied on the beach until 2 a.m, the sound of waves and music drowning out everything else. When we finally stumbled back inside, exhausted and sunburned, I was the last one awake. I stood at the kitchen sink, drinking water and staring out at the dark ocean. That's when I saw her. A woman stood at the edge of our deck, barely 10 feet away, wearing a white sundress that seemed to glow in the moonlight. Her long hair hung in wet tangles around her face, and she was staring directly at me. I dropped my glass. It shattered in the sink. "Hello," I called out, my voice cracking. "Can I help you?" She didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, swaying slightly, water dripping from her dress and pooling at her bare feet. My heart hammered in my chest. I fumbled for my phone to turn on the porch light. The moment the light flickered on, she was gone. The deck was empty, the wood completely dry. Too much sun, I muttered, trying to convince myself. Too much beer. I didn't tell anyone the next morning. We spent the day on the beach, and I pushed the image of the woman out of my mind. But that night, things got worse. We'd invited some people we'd met at the beach over for drinks. The house was packed, music blasting, everyone having a great time. Around midnight, one of the guests, a girl named Vanessa, came running in from the deck, her face pale. "There's someone outside," she said, her voice shaking. A woman in white. She was just standing there, staring at me. The music stopped. Everyone went quiet. What did she look like? I asked, my stomach nodding. Soaking wet. Long dark hair. She looked wrong, like she was sick or something. Jake laughed nervously. Probably just someone from one of the other houses, drunk and lost. But I knew better. I'd seen her too. Marcus and 2 other guys went outside to check. They came back 5 minutes later, shaking their heads. "Nobody out there, man. You sure you saw someone?" Vanessa nodded emphatically. "I know what I saw." The party broke up shortly after that. Our guests left, and the 6 of us sat in the living room. The earlier festive mood completely evaporated. "Okay, what the hell is going on?" Riley demanded. "Emma, you've been weird all day. Did you see something too?" I hesitated, then told him about the woman on the deck the previous night. Jake's girlfriend, Melissa, went pale. "Oh my God," she whispered. "I saw her too. This afternoon when I was showering. She was standing outside the bathroom window, watching me. I thought I was losing it." "This isn't funny," Riley said, her voice rising. "If someone's stalking us, we need to call the cops." "And tell them what?" Marcus countered. "That we saw a wet woman who disappears? They'll think we're on drugs." We decided to stick together, lock all the doors and windows, and reassess in the morning. Maybe we'd pack up early. lose our deposit, and find somewhere else to stay. But we didn't make it to morning. I woke up at 3:17 a.m. to the sound of humming. A woman's voice, soft and melodic, coming from somewhere inside the house. My roommate, Sarah, was asleep in the other bed, her breathing deep and steady. I grabbed my phone and tiptoed to the door. The humming was coming from downstairs. Every instinct screamed at me to stay in my room, but I couldn't let my friends face whatever this was alone. I crept into the hallway and nearly collided with Jake. "You hear it too?" he whispered. I nodded. One by one, the others emerged from their rooms, drawn by the eerie lullaby echoing through the house. We moved together down the stairs, following the sound of the living room. The woman in white stood in the center of the room, her back to us. Water pooled around her feet, soaking into the hardwood floor. She was humming a tune I didn't recognize, swaying gently as if dancing with an invisible partner. "Who are you?" Marcus demanded, his voice braver than any of us felt. "What do you want?" She stopped humming. Slowly, impossibly slowly, she turned to face us. Her face was bloated and discolored, her eyes milky white. Her mouth hung open, revealing swollen tongue and blackened teeth. This wasn't a living person. This was a corpse. Sarah screamed. We all stumbled backward, but the woman, the thing, moved with sudden, horrifying speed. She glided across the floor, without her feet touching the ground, water streaming from her body. Her dead eyes locked on us. "Get out!" I screamed. "Everyone, get out now!" We ran for front door. Jake got there first and yanked on the handle. It wouldn't budge. He tried again, throwing his full weight against it. "It's locked. I can't open it." The windows, they were our only chance. Marcus grabbed a chair and hurled it at the nearest window. The chair bounced off as if it had hit concrete. The glass didn't even crack. Behind us, the woman was getting closer. The temperature in the room plummeted. Our breath came out in visible clouds. She opened her mouth wider, impossibly wide, and water began pouring out, gallons of it, flooding across the floor toward us. "Upstairs," Riley shouted. We bolted up the stairs, the water rushing after us with unnatural speed. We barricaded ourselves in the master bedroom, shoving furniture against the door. The humming started again, right outside, accompanied by the sound of water seeping under the door. "There has to be a way out," Melissa sobbed. "Please, there has to be a way." Jake was already at the window, trying to open it, like the ones downstairs. It wouldn't move. We were trapped. Sarah was frantically Googling on her phone. "Oh, God," she whispered. "Oh, my God. I found something." She turned her phone so we could all see. It was a news article from 3 years ago. Woman drowns at Padre Island beach house. Body not found for 3 days. My hands trembled as I read the details. A woman named Caroline Vega had rented a beach house, this beach house, with her boyfriend. They'd had a fight on the deck. He'd left angry, telling her he was done. She'd been drinking, distraught. She'd gone for a night swim and drowned. Her body had washed up 3 days later, bloated and decomposed. Her boyfriend had been questioned but never charged. The owner, I breathed, the owner of this house. Is it Daniel Vega? Jake read from the rental listing. Oh, Jesus. He's renting out the place where his girlfriend died. The door began to shake. Water was flooding under it now, rising rapidly. The humming grew louder, more insistent, mixed with sound like drowning, gurgling, choking, desperate gasps for air. "She's trying to kill us," Marcus said. "She's going to drown us like she drowned." "No," I said, an idea forming. "She's not trying to kill us. She's trying to show us what happened to her. Sarah, look up Daniel Vega. Look up everything." Sarah's fingers flew across her phone. Multiple domestic disturbance calls to their address. Neighbors reported fighting. One witness claimed she'd seen Caroline with bruises, but Caroline never pressed charges. The water was at our ankles now, rising faster. We climbed onto the bed, but we all knew it was pointless. The water would reach us eventually. She didn't just drown. I said, the realization hitting me like a punch to the gut. He killed her. He held her under. That's why her boyfriend was questioned. That's why he's renting this place out. He's trying to profit from where he murdered her. The moment I said the words, everything stopped. The water froze in place, ankle deep around the bed. The humming ceased. The door stopped shaking. Then, slowly, the water began to recede. It flowed backward, out from under the door, down the stairs, as if being rewound. The temperature returned to normal. The oppressive presence lifted. The woman appeared one more time, standing at the foot of the bed. But now her face looked different, younger, peaceful. Her eyes were clear and brown, full of gratitude. She mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." Then she was gone. The front door downstairs clicked open. We didn't waste a second. We grabbed our essentials and ran, leaving everything else behind. We drove straight to the police station and told them everything. The drowning, the articles we'd found, our suspicion that Caroline Vega's death was an accident. The detective we spoke to was skeptical at first, but when we showed him the articles and our rental agreement with Daniel Vega, his expression changed. He made some calls. 2 weeks after we returned home, we got a call from that detective. Daniel Vega had been arrested. New witnesses had come forward after the case was reopened. Caroline's friends testified about abuse. Evidence suggested she'd been held underwater during that night swim. Daniel was facing murder charges. Her death is being investigated as a homicide now, the detective told me. Because of what you kids reported, we took another look. You might have just solved a 3-year-old murder. I never went back to Padre Island. None of us did. But sometimes on quiet nights, I think about Caroline Vega. I think about how she spent 3 years trying to tell someone what had happened to her. How she'd been trapped in that house, drowning over and over, unable to rest. I hope she's at peace now. I hope she knows that we heard her, that we made sure her story was finally told, that the man who killed her will face justice. Spring break should be about freedom and fun. Ours became about giving a voice to someone who'd been silenced forever. Sometimes the dead don't want to scare us. Sometimes they just want someone to finally listen. If you ever rent a beach house that seems too good to be true, look into its history. Some places hold on to their tragedies, and some spirits won't rest until the truth comes to light. We learned that the hard way.